Okay, we're going to get really real here for a moment about visibility and creating content. And I'm going to ask you this question. What would you say if you weren't trying to say it perfectly? How would it sound if you let go of perfectionism and lean into a bring it to life frequency? Because it's been sitting in the back of your head, it's been sitting in your heart, and it's something that you've been wanting to share with your audience. And you just are so concerned about saying it just right, or you create the content and you're hesitant. You just can't hit publish on it, and you're not sure why. It can be really easy to overthink our visibility or really anything else in our business. However, February, which is literally right around the corner, is here to remind us that visibility doesn't have to feel heavy or overwhelming. February is a 3 month, which is the creative. And this energy isn't asking us to bust out our crafting table or our paints and canvas. And if you know what, if that's your thing, then by all means, dive right in. Totally not my thing. But hey, I'm not here to judge. This is literally, we can lean into this creative type of energy. But what it's really asking us to do is to tap into joy and visibility, our expression, its social energy, and even storytelling. So it's about being creative in all of these other ways. I back up, not other ways, but I want you to expand your perspective or your thought process of the word creative. It can be so easy to be caught up in this word creative and think to ourselves, I'm not creative because I'm not an artsy person. But there's so many more definitions to what creative actually is. In February, this is what it's asking us to do. It's asking us to lean into all these other ways that we can be creative besides needing to feel like an artsy type person. Okay. Because at the end of the day, this is about being human, and being human creates connection, and connection is what creates momentum. Okay. So when you apply numerology to your business, we look at 3 areas specifically. We look at visibility, we look at offers and operation. And today in this episode, I want to shift you from overthinking your content. We're literally going to hone in on this one aspect of visibility. So I'm going to walk you through an exercise that can help your content feel more human again instead of so performative. So you'll need just a few moments. Okay. So even if you're driving or going for a walk, you're sitting in car line, doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. Okay. You can participate in this exercise. Okay. So I'm going to ask you one question. Okay. Well, really, this is like my 3rd question, but just keep going with me here. Okay. The question is, what do I believe my audience needs to hear this month? Now, what was the first thing that popped into your head? What was that first idea? What was that memory? What was that experience? What was that story? What was the conversation? What was that first thing that literally just popped into your head? That's what I want you to roll with. Okay. Now, if you had this particular idea or you remembered a particular conversation that you had with a client or a colleague or a friend, yesterday, last week, or whatever, that was like you found yourself being super passionate about. Okay. And that's the first thing that popped into your head. And then you immediately started thinking, okay, well, is this really what I want to talk about? Or how am I going to talk about this? We start to overanalyze what it is that we're talking about, or that first idea that popped into our head. This is literally the definition of anxiety. This is overwhelm. Okay. And I want for you to pause for a quick moment. If this happened to you, just know that that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong if this is the experience that you just had. This happens for a lot of us, myself included. I am not exempt from this. But what I want you to do is I want you to get out of the future, and I want you to come back into this present moment. So take a nice deep breath. fill your lungs, feel your belly expand, blow it all out. And we're going to now lean into that first idea that popped into your head without judgment, without shame, without overthinking. How am I going to create this into content? We're not going to go there. Not right now. Okay. What I want you to do is to speak it out. Okay, so grab your phone, hit voice note, and just start talking about it. Or if you're more of a writer than a talker, then I want you to grab a pen and paper, and I just want you to put your pen to that paper and just start writing. I don't want you to think about it so much. I want you to just start writing. What was that idea? What was that memory? What was that story? What was that conversation? What is that piece of knowledge that you have that you are wanting to share with your audience? This is your anchor for your visibility this coming month in February. I want you to literally anything that you create content about to come back to whatever this one thing is. Now, here's the thing about creating content inside of our business. We need to make sure that everything that we're creating content about can eventually lead back to an offer that we have, setting up your newsletter, or back to a product that they can purchase, whether that is like a $30 PDF, PDF download that you have. How can we bring them into your world? Okay. So we want to make sure that at the end of this piece of content, we can have a call to action that has them inquire with you, sign up for your newsletter, or purchase that digital product or even physical product. Okay. And here's the big thing. Okay. If whatever it is that you came up with doesn't lead back to an offer, why? Okay. The big question is why? Why is there not a connection between an offer? And if you're like, okay, well, because this has nothing to do with my business, then I'm going to take you back to the first question of what is it that your audience needs to hear from you right now? Okay. This is all about creating visibility in your business. So we want to bring everything back to your business because we don't want to confuse our audience. We want them to feel connected to who you are, what you have to offer, your knowledge, your experience, what you stand for inside of your business. So if you can't bring all of that back to your offer, then I'm going to ask you to really pause for another moment and say, okay, why is it that my audience needs to hear this? And is there a way for me to segue this into an offer, or to have them sign up for my newsletter, or to buy this digital product that I have? And this is the beauty of using numerology inside of our business. Yeah, it can have all of the spiritual woo woo behind it, and that's fun and great. And if you resonate with that, wonderful, roll with that, lean into that, have fun with that. But if you don't resonate with that side of numerology, then I'm here to let you know that you can still use numerology as a practical focus tool inside of our business. A lot of times we are doing things in our business like taking on tasks, making commitments, or implementing new ideas because they sound really good. But at the end of the day, it's not moving the needle in our business. It's not creating sustainable momentum. And when that happens, then we are actually confusing our audience because they're like, I don't really know exactly what she does or what she offers. And this is the beauty of numerology, especially when you use it to hone in on your visibility, your offers, and how you operate your business. So all of those admin type tasks. So each month has its own frequency, has its own energy. And when you apply that to these three areas of your business, that is the nurturing of your business. Our business needs to be nurtured because if we don't nurture it, it dies. At the end of the day, that's what happens. And it can either have a slow, grueling death, or it can happen really, really abruptly. And I don't want that for you. And I know that you didn't become an entrepreneur or start a business just to have it die. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling like you are just constantly trying to keep up, if you are constantly overthinking things and worried about what is this going to look like, a week down the line, a month down the line, 6 months down the line, a year, how do I implement and bring this all together? Then I'm going to just snatch you out of that energy and bring you back into this present moment. And this is why I love numerology. And this is what numerology did for me, is it helped me to stay in the present moment. And it took away all of the overwhelm and overthinking, the anxiety, the stress, the exhaustion, the burnout that was coming from doing something that I actually loved, which confused the daylights out of me. I mean, how can you get burned out doing something that you love? And that's because we experience overwhelm, stress, anxiety, overthinking, pure exhaustion inside of our business. This is what burns us out. And if you're experiencing that even just in a little bit every single day, then you're already in burnout, my friend. Even if you are hitting all of your goals, maybe you're exceeding your goals, things seems to be really great from the outside or when you look at it on paper, but inside you are just struggling to keep your head above water, to keep things going. You are dragging yourself out of bed and dragging yourself into your office, into your client meetings, and you're putting on a face like, yeah, everything's great, fine, I got this. But the reality is that you hit the bed at night and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know if I can keep going this way. Then you are already starting to experience burnout. Unless you make a shift, unless you change the approach, it's not going to get any better. You're going to continue to experience the same thing over and over and over again. So using numerology is a simple, practical tool to help bring you out of that, to ground you inside of your business, to create clarity on what is important right now in regards to your visibility, your offers, and your operations. And this is exactly what we do inside of my Rising Entrepreneur membership. So I explained to you today that we're leading into a 3-month in February. I shared with you what that means and what that can look like in regards to your visibility. Now you have a plan for the whole month of February on what to create content about and how to approach it. I gave you a starting point. Now it's up to you to implement and do the work, but this is exactly what my membership offers to you. It gives you that starting point to create the momentum, and we do this on a monthly basis, and that's what makes it a sustainable momentum. And I'm here to personally invite you into this membership, into a container that literally reduces the mental noise. It takes away a bunch of options. So it literally is an integration container for you to have clarity, to have focus, to be grounded, and have practical implementation in nurturing your business so that your business doesn't die. Because let's be real, at the end of the day, you don't need more strategy. You don't need another strategy inside your business. What you need is a rhythm, and not just any rhythm, but a rhythm that honors your energy. And this is the beauty of working with numerology. And if you want to go deeper, then you start to bring in elements of your human design, understanding exactly how your energy works, how you best make decisions, how you best interact with the world, how you create momentum by leaning into you. You hear all the time that all the answers that you need, everything that you need is already inside of you. And here is the map to bring that to life, to show you the way. And you can take this and run with this completely on your own. You can take this whole strategy, this whole rhythm, and say, okay, I'm going to follow the universal month number and I'm going to apply that to my business. But do you want one more thing to do, one more thing to figure out, another thing on your to-do list? Or do you just want to go to a place where it's all laid out for you in black and white and all you have to do is implement, which is something that you're doing anyway? And again, if you're not implementing visibility, if you're not doing anything with your offers, and that doesn't look like you have to create new offers all the time, but we need to promote our offers. We need to talk about our offers. We need to show people what it is that we do and what it's like to work with us. So this isn't about constantly tweaking things. This is about getting our information out there. It's about being seen for who we are and what we have to offer to everybody, because you're here to help. That's why you are an entrepreneur. That's why you are here to you're literally here to help other people reach their goal, no matter what that is. I mean, that whether that's real estate, that's photography, you're a coach, you are a store owner that has a brick and mortar where you sell a product, and that product is to, even like maybe it's skincare and you're helping them with skincare. Maybe you're a salon owner. Like, it doesn't matter what industry that you're in. This is not necessarily specific to any one industry. This applies to everybody. And that's the beauty of this. I know I keep saying this is the beauty of, but it's the truth. It is the cold, hard truth that there is this incredible, incredible tool out there that is being completely overlooked because it has this spiritual woo-woo attachment to it. But it's such a practical tool. It's an insanely practical tool. And I figured out how to harness this tool. And trust me, it was not easy. It took me 2 years to figure this out. Literally 2 years to figure this out. And that's why I'm here to share it with you, because I have it figured out. And you don't have to go through the agony and the ups and downs and all of the, oh my gosh, the how many times I implemented this and it bombed. It totally bombed. And there were certainly points where I said, maybe this isn't something that's usable inside of business. Maybe I've got it all wrong. Maybe I need to walk away from it. But I couldn't walk away. There was just this part of me that knew that there was a way to figure it out. And sure enough, I nailed it. Like, I am going to pat myself on the back here because I put a lot of hard work into this and I nailed it. And you don't have to go through all of that. I already did the hard, heavy lifting for you. Now you can just come in and reap the benefits of it. And inside of a community where there's other like-minded people like you who just want to nurture their business because they just want to be seen for who they are and what they have to offer and how they can help. They want to be seen. They want to be heard for their expertise, for their knowledge, because they know that they can help. And I know that that's you. And if you're not getting that, if you're not getting that recognition, and if you're feeling overwhelmed because you're trying to do all of the dang things and you're trying to do it all right now, I'm here to let you know you don't have to. February is here to show us that visibility doesn't have to be heavy. And right now it can feel so heavy, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. You might think, why? What is the point of all of this? This is important. But you know what it is? Because this is what we're fighting for. This is part of that freedom that we are literally fighting for, that we are standing up to this administration and saying, no more. You don't get to dictate my life. You're here to support me as an American. And part of being an American is having freedom. And part of that freedom is being an entrepreneur and being able to lean into my zone of genius and into my personal power, and here to serve, here to help others. This is not just about me. This is about how I can impact the world. So fight for that. Fight for that, and do that in a way that doesn't completely drain you, doesn't burn you out, doesn't get you to a point where you can't continue to go on anymore and you have to shut your doors. Do that before it gets to that point. And I'm here to let you know too that this membership is only $40 a month. That's it. $40 a month. and like maybe an hour's worth of your time a week. That's it. Because I'm here to make this practical. I'm here to make this practical tool be implemented in a practical way inside of your business. And if you're not willing to make a change, that's okay. That just means you're not ready. That just means that your overwhelm, your overthinking, your anxiety, your stress, your exhaustion isn't fully uncomfortable yet. But I'm also here to let you know that it doesn't have to get to a point where it's uncomfortable. You don't have to go that far. So if you feel any of this, if you resonate with any of this, this is your moment. This is your moment to make a small shift inside of your business that brings you clarity, that brings you sustainable momentum, because it's not about doing more. It's about creating a rhythm that honors your energy. And that's exactly what I am here to help you find, to help you uncover. This is not about my rhythm. This is about your rhythm. And how can we uncover that so that you can implement that in your business, so that your business can thrive instead of die? So give this a try and see what shifts for you. Hi, I'm Kimberly Romano, Indian wedding photographer turned brand photographer and human design reader. Thank you for tuning into Shifted, the podcast that is here to spark a shift in you that creates big change in your energy, perspective, and direction. And if this episode sparked a shift in you, then subscribe and leave a review sharing what your shift was. Not only will this help others discover this podcast, but your shift can inspire them to have a shift of their own. Please remember, the content you hear in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as legal, health, or financial advice. For professional guidance, I encourage you to seek out a trusted expert near you. Thank you again for tuning into Shifted. Until next time, keep leaning into the shift.